Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Policy Watch with your host Kriti Mishra. The Department of Space has put up for public consultation the draft Humans in Space Policy for India 2021 and guidelines and procedures for its implementation. According to the draft, human spaceflight program needs to be sustained over longer periods to deliver tangible benefits. Hence, it is essential that the policy enables sustained presence in low Earth orbit and beyond through reliable, robust, safe and affordable means by undertaking appropriate capacity building measures like collaborations, infrastructure development, modernization, technology development and human resource development. This would also encourage new industries, create high technology jobs, enable socio-economic growth and further enhance India's stature and role in space. And to discuss the draft, I'm joined by Dr. V.S. Hegde, former Scientific Secretary, ISRO and CMD Antariksh Corporation Limited, and Dr. S. Pal, former Senior Advisor, Satellite Navigation, ISRO. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, gentlemen. And Dr. Hegde, coming to you first. India is committed to maintaining its role as a leading spacefaring nation. Take us through the salient features of the draft Humans in Space Policy for India 2021, sir.
If you recall, we started our space program nearly 60 years ago. And we started in the most modest way of, addressing the national development goals, started with something related to crop, then got into a host of applications. Parallelly, India got into developing launch vehicles because it was conceived as an indigenous, self-reliant space program. So we started with small launch vehicles, got into bigger and bigger launch vehicles. We got into manufacturing a host of satellites. And then, of course, the applications today reached out to the nook and corner of the country. So today we are one of the fine examples of having achieved excellent space infrastructure for Earth observation, communication, navigation, planetary exploration or space science, as you call. And we have a host of space applications covering Earth observation, communication, navigation, and synergistic use of a lot of terrestrial systems as well. And we have also addressed the issue of capacity building. Large number of experts in various areas, starting from applications to technology, all kinds of people are indigenously today trained, well-trained and capable. And we have technical infrastructure, various centers, facilities spread across, the nation. Almost all nooks and corners of the country has got one or the other space infrastructure. And our launch vehicles, if you see, PSLV, GSLV, then the SSLV is going to come. GSLV Mark III is specifically there and is gearing up to realize the human in space mission. And if I just half a minute, if I can dwell on our achievements, we had 79 successful launch vehicle missions till today, 111 satellites were successful, and about 52 or 53 satellites are operating in space up today. And we have also launched 328 satellites from 32 or 33 foreign nations. And that is a lot of testimony to what we have achieved as a space program, which made so modest beginning. Yes. And if you appreciate, 59 or 60 years for an organization, it's something like one person's active lifespan. Of course, we become active at the age of, say, 23, 24, 25, and maybe very active till 60, whatever. So basically, it is indeed a matured space program today. So yes. It is only logical that India has embarked upon human in space program. World over, the space agencies are trying to revisit moon. The Artemis program is there. By 2024, they want a woman astronaut and a man astronaut to land on moon again. And there is increased interest globally to reach out to other planets and have persistent human presence. When every day the International Space Station or astronauts, visiting space station is a big news. So I mean to say that India having embarked upon human in space program is an extremely logical step,
Yes, sir.
because having been an ISRO person all through my career for more than 40 decades, I have seen that ISRO has been investing in developing various critical technologies required for human in space program.
Right, sir.
Be it some testing certain things on balloon, or sending a space capsule, making it orbit the Earth and successfully recovering it. They have all been some of the major achievements, which all have been feeding over the years to the program which India has embarked upon today.
Absolutely,
Having been
sir. So that was a stupendous success of India's space program. But talking about this policy, Dr. Pal, worldwide human spaceflight programs have delivered large economic and technological benefits. India has demonstrated capability, as sir was telling us, in developing and operating end-to-end solutions in space transportation systems, space infrastructure, space applications, as well as ground segment. Tell us about the significance of the humans in space policy for India.
I joined my friend Dr. Hegde, whatsoever he said, so I don't have to dwell upon this. I have got now just completed 50 years of my technological, rendezvous with ISRO. I started from the Aryabhatta program. So starting from Aryabhatta, where the satellite was more than 63 kg, we were in VHF, etc., to coming to the human space flights is a big journey. If I look back, our progress is fantastic. Now, coming back to the main topic, you have told in your preamble that this human space policy is for sustained human space efforts in the orbit. That's very important, because we are not doing in one shot. In space technology, we have got 6 components, but one is satellite. Satellite means remote sensing, communication, navigation, and scientific satellites. Then another, and also this orbits like Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, they also fall in the same category. Then the launchers like SLV, PSLV, GSLV, GSLV Mark III, and reusable vehicles, etc., which Dr. Hegde just now touched upon it. Then we have got another component is navigation. That's very important. So then navigation is another component. Then we have got a ground segment. ISRO has got an extensively spread ground segment, and then of course applications. I personally feel we are lacking in applications from ISRO point of view, for which industry should come forward, and the in-space policy which has come, and the open space policy, that should give a flip to the applications. Now coming to the human space program, it's a very complex thing. It consists of all launch. It needs a big, heavy launcher which can lift the heavy satellites. We need an accurate tracking of the vehicles, the capsule which goes there. The safety aspect is we don't go for 1 or 2 or 3. It has to be, safety has to be some 0.69. That sort of safety should be there. Then the escape mechanisms are there. ISRO has got the capability of all the things. Then added to that one, human has to sustain there. So life-saving thing is there. In that, remote sensing, communication, tracking, and all those things are there. Now it involves what? It involves medical technology, it involves material technology, it involves launching technology, it involves software, communication, new communication technologies have to be there. We have to go on tracking the space Gnanayan, or for that matter, for the future spacecraft, anything. And what it can give in the future is that we can, refuel the satellites which are in low Earth orbit. As of today, we are thinking about low Earth orbit only. We can, service them in the low Earth orbit. It reduces the cost considerably. And such things, humans can go. If suppose we have got an international space station like Indian Space Station, which once I heard Chairman ISRO has said that sometimes we will have it. So all these things will fit to it. Now you see the spin-offs of these things. Beautiful medical technologies will come. Beautiful food technologies will come for that one, which will
Yes.
enrich the micronutrients, clothing, propulsions, and lightweight things, etc. The spin-offs are many. So to keep the human space flights in a sustainable manner, we need to have a collaborative program. We need to have a collaboration with the industries, maybe with the outside countries, because every country cannot afford. So for economic point of technological point of view, we can have it. I saw a news item that ISRO has signed a MOU with the Australia. It's a
Yes.
Australia has got the ground station, NASA ground station, etc. So these are all the welcome moves, and we are going in the right direction. I must congratulate the government of India, DOS, and ISRO. Of course, since I am a retired person, still I feel I am a ISRO person.
Absolutely,
So
sir.
I find it's a very thing, and then the technology which can develop is clothing, biodegradable things, how to have a regeneration of biosystems there. Then last thing which I want to tell is that if we are successful, if we can put a launch big things, then many medicinal molecules can be developed only in gravity conditions.
Right,
So
sir.
zero gravity conditions provides materials it provides. So opportunities are tremendous. And the last one thing which I want to say, I wish to congratulate the DOS, ISRO, and Government of India, and they are in the right direction. They made the human space policy. Prior to that one in 2020, they made the spacecom policy. They made the remote sensing policy. Geospatial policy has come recently. So I tell you, we are going in all directions in a big way, and I wish good luck to the country and ISRO, and I'm proud of it.
All right, sir. We'll just talk
Thank you.
about the collaboration and the technology part of it. But you made a very important point about Gaganyaan. Dr. Hegde, during her budget speech, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman declared that India's first space flight mission, which would be human space flight mission, will conduct its first unmanned launch by the end of the year. And Gaganyaan will be a major turning point in India's space program. Tell us about the importance of Gaganyaan given the geopolitical dynamics in the realm of planetary exploration.
I see, Gaganyaan initially aims at sending 2 or 3 astronauts into space, and after 6 or 7 days, safely bring them back. That itself is a big achievement. Towards that, what we all read in the media, basically ISRO, various publications, various statements by the ISRO chief is we will have unmanned flight because which certainly has to work, and we are all confident about it because seeing the track record of ISRO of having successfully launched 79 launch vehicle missions till today, and having configured GSLV so well. And obviously, GSLV will be further tuned, environmental levels will be further qualified, and which will be good enough. Which, because as an ISRO person, I don't have any doubt that ISRO will make it. So, and ISRO also is a fine example among the global space programs in tailoring the payload or tailoring whatever you carry in the launch vehicle to the capabilities of the launch vehicle. You see, Mars mission is one of the finest example. If PSLV could launch a spacecraft and make it orbit around Mars, that is something commendable. So same way, Indian Gaganyaan will be tailored around GSLV's capabilities to carry only those many astronauts who can safely go and come back. And towards that, tremendous pre-investment has been made. So, Gaganyaan will initially, or Gaganyaan will be orbiting around the Earth only. So they will be looking at the Earth and conducting some scientific experiments in space in the zero gravity condition. That is what Gaganyaan talks of as of now.
All right, sir. So those are the details as far as Gnanayan is concerned. But Dr. Pal, as you said, that we need key technology elements like regenerative life support systems, development of rendezvous and docking systems, inflatable habitats, extravehicular activity suits. How do we identify and develop these necessary technologies for enabling sustained presence of humans in low Earth orbit and beyond? And do you think our private industry or startups can match up to this level of investment?
That's a very good question, and it's a question is there in our mind, my mind also, and my colleagues who have retired. But you see, many technologies have been developed already by ISRO. Many missions we have already tested these technologies. So we are not new to these technologies. When the first flight goes in unmanned flight, all those technologies will get certified. So ISRO, whenever I said when we 0.59s or 0.56, that sort of reliability we get it. So all these technologies will be tested. And when the technology like docking or rendezvous, etc., or bringing back, tracking them in a centimeters accuracy, orbital accuracy has to be in centimeters when you want to dock, where we involve the laser technology with the RF technology, new communication technology, because spectrum is very premium, and precious. We don't have spectrum. All those technologies will get developed. We are in ISRO is right on directions. So all those technologies, once we perfect them in space, they will also be used for ground segment and applications. So for those purposes, see, we can't launch a space capsule every day. So it will take some time. During those periods, the industries can use them for commercial purposes, and the funds will come from there. Once something is there, startups will get, a lot of venture capitalists will come from outside, within the country. So we are the startup which are in a minuscule level today will become a micro and macro. So it's a question of time. It's not that today we when we started Aryabhat, I cannot explain you how we were there. We did not have even the sitting place. The pigeons used to fly. Today we have got the beautiful, most modern facilities for satellite integration, vehicle integration, fabricating the vehicle. The propellants are fabricated by private industries. The HAL makes the structures. Private industry participates in. I understand more than 350 private industries participate now itself also. So it's not that we are the first time going for private industries. Now bigger private industries can come. Large houses are there; they can come. L&T has always supported us. Machine tools, Reddy machine tools, HAL, then Walchand Nagar, they all supported. So they can go in a big way. So even the software industries can go in a big way. So I see a very bright future, and a lot of opportunities are there. One should not be keeping any reservation in mind that such programs will not give a flip to the economy. I'm sure it will give a much larger flip to the economy than what we can imagine today. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. The opportunities are endless. But Dr. Hegde, another important aspect that I'd like to touch upon. The draft also says that international cooperation shall be utilized as tool for taking up projects of mutual interest with aim to enhance knowledge in diversified scientific and engineering domains. Any specific lessons for India for accelerating the humans in space program for different countries that you can think of?
I have no idea with any specific thing we have done with many countries, but as of now, we are all aware that the astronauts identified from India to go in Gaganyaan are being trained in Russia. To that extent, we know. And obviously, since the government of India has also solicited, the foreign direct investment in Indian space program, and many spacefaring nations or industries from many countries are seeking to become a part of the opportunities that are in India today. Obviously, India is one country with 1/6 to 1/7 of the total global population, one of the largest community of engineers and scientists, and excellent manufacturing abilities in all areas, whether it is in engineering, medicine, whatever. Obviously, almost all the foreign countries looking at India is well understood. And I can only quote the example of the automobile sector. In 1983, when Maruti 800 was coming to India, everybody doubted, whether today almost all automobiles have their manufacturing basis of some parts or the other in India. So is the case with aviation. So how and in what manner Indian human in space program will tie up with foreign space programs or foreign countries is only a matter for us to wait and see. But if you see the guidelines in the policy also, the first point is to demonstrate human spaceflight capability,
Yes.
which says clearly leveraging on ISRO's expertise and national research institutions where academia, industry, all organizations will participate, which will pave way for defining our long-term activity with regard to human in space. Then, parallelly, it will be a continuous process. Go on identifying the necessary technologies, keep refining them, go for newer technologies. And that is where, based on the need to save time, to to realize whatever we have conceived in the time frame, and certain international partnerships will be necessary, because India has been a part of all the global space forums, whether at the
Yes.
United Nations level, whether at the any other level, or we have a large number of, more than 40, 45 countries. We have active collaboration with them, bilateral agreement, multilateral agreement. We have on all space agencies all over the world gained tremendously through international partnerships. I told in the beginning that 328 small satellites or small or medium-sized satellites from 33 countries have availed the launch opportunity that was available in India for a cost. It is not that only we seek. Almost all countries seek cooperation with us. We seek cooperation with them. So, as we move along, the policy also says that we will constitute suitable mechanisms for participation of various stakeholders. And then we will have a collaborative framework with our own scientific institutions, maybe with other nations. And obviously, all these activities will involve international cooperation, and a lot of collaboration programs will come up. Because you see, if you see our own remote sensing satellites, there was a time we had more than 20, 30 ground stations working all over, including countries like Russia, China. In fact, China had 2 ground stations to receive data from Indian satellites, because good number of our satellites are global missions, and our OceanSat data is extensively used in Europe, used everywhere. Even US has used our remote sensing data. The US agriculture crop monitoring project. So, collaboration in space goes without saying. Once you get into space, your own country will start looking very tiny, and globe becomes absolutely perceivable. I think specifically in Gnanayan today, my knowledge or our knowledge is as good as everybody else's, that Indian astronauts are undergoing training in Russia.
Yes, sir.
And any other collaboration we are yet to hear. And basically what I find is, ISRO is extremely open. They don't wait for a day to make a thing, make a news known, And
Absolutely, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Before we end this conversation, Dr. Pal, I just have 60 seconds on the show. The draft also talks about public involvement. Sir, how do we enhance public involvement in human space programs through outreach activities? 30 seconds to you, sir.
Yeah, in developing applications, if you are talking about the common man will be happy when we have got successful program. As far as industries, application things, etc. is concerned, we have already spelled out. There is ample opportunities for applications as well as making a small systems, reliable systems, etc. And when the reliability, certifiability, and manufacturability, repeatability comes, even our industries will get it. The new culture will get changed in the industries. They don't have to be perfectly space-based, but those industries will get benefited. We will have a standards. We will have a certification process, etc. for everywhere, and maybe in new industries from outside will come. Like I hope that one day we will have our own. In India we will have the what foundries, because we have started making the mobiles, we start making many things, and when we have got sustained human space program, the space program itself, then many semiconductor industries will come, many materials industries will come. I see a bright future. No, it's difficult to
Yes,
predict
sir.
today, because if I look back in 1970 when I joined, launched the first satellite Aryabhat 75, and then we see how much advancement we have done it, and within the limited resources. That's a great thing. We don't have a large resources, but we have done tremendously. If you take it output by resources, our efficiency is very high. Thank you.
All right, sir. On that note, thank you so much for joining us. And given the
Thank you.
collaborative nature of human spaceflight due to its multidisciplinary nature, it is essential to have a policy framework on human spaceflight which not only fosters collaborations but also addresses proliferation concerns and compliance to existing policies, laws, and treaties. So that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.